The other day I was watching an Extra Throttle House video, and they have a video about how if you had $50,000, what cars would you buy? You have 3 cars to buy for that $50,000 in total. And I thought, that's kind of a cool idea, so I'm gonna do my own version of it, but with $100,000. So let's get into it. As for my daily driver, I'm thinking about something reliable, something that's gonna last me a long time, something I can trust to drive out on the road and not be stressed out that this thing is gonna explode or something like that. So that immediately makes me think Honda Civic, Toyota, Corolla, Camry, something like that. But I realized that's a little too boring for me. I want something a little bit more fun. So I go along the lines of, well, what are reliable, fun cars? I start thinking of something like a Lexus IS. I think is a very cool car. I used to own one. I loved that car. It's honestly, it was so much fun to drive, but it was a great car to drive every day. You know, something that's big enough to carry groceries, friends, and everything else like that, different supplies that you would need, but it's also, you want to drive it. You don't want to be embarrassed to be seen in it. But then that got me to think, well, there's a lot of ISs that are in pretty terrible condition. I got very lucky with mine and I kept it in very good condition, but not a lot of people do that with these things. So that makes me think, well, what other car is there to buy? I want a Lexus for a daily. So I go and think of a car that was not owned by an 18-year-old kid, but by a grandma. And I'm talking about the LS460. And one of the earlier trim models, something of around 2008 to 2009. I found this beautiful LS460 here, black on the outside, tan on the inside, exactly what I would want for an everyday driver car. You know, big, brawny Lexus V8, an engine that is gonna outlive humanity itself. I mean, you could pour water into an LS460 engine and it would still work. I found a great condition, and this black LS460 is only $10,000, and that is a freaking deal. I am very happy with this decision for an everyday car, so this is my first everyday car. The daily is going to be a $10,000 LS460, so I have $90,000 left to spend. And for the weekend car, aka the fun car, the sports car, if you will, and I put a lot of different thought and thinking power into this, and there are lots of different options I could go with. Something like a WRX, which is a fun car. It's a very sporty car. It's very easily moddable. There's a lot of aftermarket support for these things. But then I realized, I don't think it's fun enough. And don't get me wrong, WRX owners, they're cool cars. I think a WRX STI from the mid-2010s is a cool car. That's a very neat car. 4th gen WRXs I'm wild about. But I want something more like a Porsche Boxster, an early 2000s Porsche Boxster, which you can get for so cheap. I'm talking like $10,000 in good condition. You know, these things you can get for so cheap. They look very, very nice. They're fun to drive. That famous Porsche Flat 6, just something that you would really feel is fun, and you could put an exhaust on it and enjoy it. I found very nice ones for $15,000, 60,000 miles, which, you know, kind of a little bit scary, a car that old, a Porsche, 60,000 miles, but regardless, who cares? It is a cool car. But I started to think, for a weekend car, if I'm gonna get a Porsche, I'm getting something that's not a Boxster. It made me think, what is a fun car? Type R. The automatic answer to anything, Type R. Go with a Type R, and honestly, that's what I'm gonna go with here. Now, whenever it comes to Type Rs, you can get them for pretty cheap, talking about like an FK8 or an FL5, the FL5 being the newest version. But I started to think, oh, the FL5 is gonna get really, really expensive with dealers. They're gonna try to mark these cars up very, very high, and I do not want to pay for that whatsoever, because let's be honest, if I'm paying $60,000 for a car, it's not gonna be a Type R, let's be real. So I'm gonna go with the FK8, something that's been around a little bit longer, has more time to marinate. People have sort of gotten over the hype for the FK8, so I'm gonna go with the FK8 personally. And I actually like the FL5 more, but come on, a Type R is a Type R. $37,000 is around the lowest that I've been able to find them that are in good condition, because I was shocked to find that some of these FK8s are kind of riced out on the inside. You can obviously tell, I mean, new shifters, like Dragon Ball Z shifters, not something I'm into at all. I want it OEM stock. If I'm gonna buy a car that much money, I'm not touching it. I found this Type R on TrueCar. And it has 39,000 miles, and the interior looks freaking great. It's not the touring model, which let's be honest, who really cares? That's gonna get you the leather seats in the back. I'm not riding in the back, I don't really care. So the Type R is gonna be, the FK8 Type R is going to be my choice for the sports car, the weekend car. So $35,000. We've brought our budget up to $45,000. We've spent $45K, and we have quite a little bit of money. And I did that on purpose because I had really only two options that I wanted for the garage car. And the first option would be a GR Supra. I mean, I've gushed about this car on this channel quite a few times. In fact, there was an old meme on the channel where I would actually glaze that car so freaking much, that and the GR Corolla. A car that is so freaking good looking and sounds so good and so easily moddable that, like, it seems like honestly the best decision money-wise. And you can get them for honestly like around $50,000, which, I mean, if you ask certain people, could be a lot. Some people, that's not a lot. But to me, I know I just said earlier that, well, it's kind of a good deal, but MSRP, that are good deals. These dealers mark these things up crazy. The best condition and model I could find was being sold by a Porsche dealer here in Houston, and you know they're gonna mark that thing up. Selling me on bougie stuff out the wazoo, let's be real. It has the German 6, which is honestly a must for me if it's gonna be the garage car, and it is in that beautiful, beautiful Toyota red. I'm gonna put it on the screen. I don't really remember what it's called off the top of my head, but it looks so freaking good. I love it. But there's like this weird fake carbon fiber spoiler on the back. I'm not a fan. I'm gonna take that off. I'm not a fan of that. I'll just get some shop to just throw that out. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the wing. Whatever. If I had a Supra, I would not put a wing on it. I can see myself being very, very satisfied with a Mark V Supra. But then I got to thinking, as one does, if I'm gonna spend that much money on a Supra, why don't I just get a 911? And I know, Vice, where are you getting a 911 for this much money? Where are you getting a 911 that's this cheap? And I went looking, I did not find a lot, but I found a 911 that is in my favorite generation, a 997 911 Carrera, and it is just beautiful. And these cars are kind of hard to find with lower mileage. I do not want a 911 that has 120,000 miles on it. I just don't. That's not something that I'm interested in whatsoever. I do not want to have to fix whatever's wrong with that thing. I found one single 997 and I am in love with it. 25,000 miles for only $43,000. That is a bargain. It is in black leather interior. Everything is black on this thing and it looks flawless. The interior is it looks almost like nobody has ever driven this car. It was obviously garage kept its entire life by some 65-year-old man, and that is the owner you want to buy a 997 from. So this 997 and the Mark V Supra, what am I going to go with? Both I could see getting so much enjoyment out of, but whenever it comes down to brass tacks, which am I going to think, yeah, I really spent my money well here. This car is going to give me the best, most thrilling experience for the money, and I'm going to be honest, that has to be the 997. The timeless design, the speed, the sound, the gearing, it's just, it feels like it's a leap over the Mark V Supra. And I understand some Supra guys that might make me upset, but for me, I'm gonna take the 997, and most people probably would too. That 3.6 is just so killer. Now our grand total at the end of the video is going to be just around $90,000, and I must say I am shocked we did this without hitting $100,000, which honestly is great because I'm definitely gonna get an exhaust put on the LS460 because I want to hear that V8 rumble. Let's be real, like that's an automatic must. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is a newer type of format for me, a newer video, so if you like it, maybe I'll do one every month or something like that. But leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. If you know any car guys, send them my way. I'll take care of them. Thanks for watching. And let me know what 3 cars you guys have spent 100K on in the comments. I'd love to see. Anyway, thanks for watching.